Hi everyone, how's everything in your corner of the world? I did try to shoot a video yesterday, but I found that I just couldn't. It just wouldn't flow. I knew what I was going to say, but it came out sounding not at all the way I wanted it to sound. I was sitting in my usual spot for shooting, right here in my outdoor studio, otherwise known as my tent in the front yard. And eventually it started to rain, which generally wouldn't bother me. It actually looks like it's going to start to rain again. But anyway, I then heard rumbles of thunder, and if I stayed in my tent under the trees, I could end up getting struck by lightning, which would be, a touch inconvenient. So I gave up on the whole idea and went inside, and it was probably close to midnight by the time I understood that what had held me back from shooting was my anxiety. I've been living with anxiety for many years, and it comes in different forms. There's the kind where I'm doing just fine, my day is going well, I'm feeling happy, I'm being productive, and all of a sudden this tidal wave of anxiety comes at me out of nowhere and knocks me off my feet. It's like the tsunami knocks me over and then pins a car on my chest. I feel constricted, I feel like I can't breathe, I feel like I can't move. And there's not really anything I can do with this kind of anxiety. That feeling of being trapped is very real. So I literally cannot do anything. It's like I have to wait for one of two things to happen. Either a rescuer comes along and lifts that car off my chest, or the tsunami recedes, taking the car with it. This kind of anxiety attack leaves me feeling drained for days. I feel exhausted. I feel bruised and delicate, like a gentle breeze could make me fall over. I can do things, but I have to be careful. It's like recovering from an illness where you have to take things easy for a while as you gradually get your strength back. Then there's the kind of anxiety that's just as devastating, but I know it's coming. It's like a tsunami again, but this time I have a tsunami warning system. I can't stop it from coming. I know it's going to hit, but I can prepare. I have time to get myself into a safer place where I won't be pinned down by a car, and I can rush to finish important tasks knowing that later on I will be incapacitated. This anxiety is preceded by a milder anxiety. You know that feeling when you know that something bad is going to happen and you're just kind of waiting for it to happen? It's like that. So while I'm making my preparations for the tsunami, I'm already feeling anxious. And then when that giant wave hits, it smothers me and I feel like I'm drowning. But this time I'm not waiting for a car on my chest to go away. This time my instincts tell me to fight for my own survival. It's up to me to fight my way to the surface. Even if something grabs me by the ankle and starts pulling me down, I have to just swim as hard as I can to get to the surface. It's a panicked, frantic kind of struggle, but when my head breaks the surface and I can finally fill my lungs with oxygen, I feel this immense sense of relief. The anxiety I felt yesterday was more like bees. Have you ever been sitting outside or like having a picnic or something, and you're minding your own business and a random bee just kind of drifts up to you? You wave it away and you keep doing what you were doing, but this bee just keeps coming back, and before you know it, there are like 5 bees flying around and trying to get into your can of Coke, and you're sitting there wondering where the heck they all came from. My anxiety yesterday was like that. It was mild at first, so mild that I could just wave it away and keep on working. But it slowly got worse to the point of being a distraction. And when that happens, after a while, it's like having 100 bees around you. Something that I've actually experienced, by the way, and it's terrifying. And when the anxiety has that quality to it, I tend to respond in one of two ways. The first is that I will obsessively keep moving. Like, I'll go for a long run, literally trying to outrun the anxiety. Or I'll do the opposite and I'll freeze. It's the classic deer in the headlights scenario. It's debilitating and it can last for days. I've lived with anxiety since I was a teenager, and for a very long time, I never spoke about it. I guess I felt self-conscious about it, like having this thing wrong with me would somehow make people think less of me, or that they just wouldn't understand. And in a way, unfortunately, that has sometimes been my experience. People will say things like, you need to get more exercise, or you just need to keep yourself busy. Or my personal favorite, if you put your mind to it, you can get over your anxiety. People say these things not intending to be mean. I really and truly believe that. I am filled with optimism about the human race. Yes, we have our share of awful human beings, but I believe that most people are essentially decent people. And when I'm on the receiving end of remarks or suggestions that range from being unhelpful to downright hurtful, I am always able to remind myself that, for the most part, these statements are coming from a place of good intent, and that does mean something. I will never not be grateful to someone who is trying to do or say something to help. It's important for folks to understand that anxiety is not a state of mind that you can overcome by force of will. It's an illness, and people who suffer from it cannot avoid or control the flare-ups. Telling someone that if they put their mind to it, they can get over their anxiety is like telling someone that if they put their mind to it, they can get over cancer. You can't tell someone with anxiety to just take a walk any more than you can tell someone with a broken leg to just take a walk. Yes, physical activity can be a very effective part of an overall strategy to manage anxiety, but that is based on the individual. Some people need to supplement that with therapy or medication or both. I see a lot of well-meaning posts on social media saying that, if you do all the things this meme or this article suggests, you don't have to take anxiety meds. And this is something I don't understand. If someone has the flu and they're taking antibiotics, no one really questions it. And they shouldn't. If someone is being treated for cancer with chemotherapy, no one questions it. And they shouldn't. But when it comes to the treatment of mental illnesses like depression and anxiety, the use of medication is somehow frowned upon, and it absolutely should not be. Anxiety medication is like any other medication. It's the right method of treatment for some people, but not for others. It's safe for some people to take, but not others. And if I or anyone else is taking medication to manage our anxiety, no one should be shaming us for that. No one should be telling us to not take our medication. That is a decision that is between the patient and their doctor or mental health practitioner. Talking about this is hard. And I don't want anyone to be worrying about me. I'm okay. I am fortunate to be surrounded by extremely supportive people. I have access to physical and mental health care, and when anxiety attacks happen, I know that as bad as it feels, I can get to a safe place. But talking about it is hard, which is why a lot of people who have anxiety tend to keep it to themselves. In making this video, I am hoping that I am doing my small part to open a dialogue about anxiety and other mental health conditions, so that people are less afraid to talk about it and feel more empowered to seek help. Stigma surrounding mental health is a thing. It is a big thing, and it costs lives. And we need to move society along to the point where we can talk as freely about mental illness as we can about physical illness. I'm going to put some mental health resources in the description box down below. Some crisis phone numbers, information pages, and so on. If you know of any resources that I should add, no matter where in the world you are located, leave me a comment and I will just keep this list updated. That's it for today. This may have turned out to be a bit longer than I intended. If you stayed this long, thank you for being here. If you haven't subscribed, please do. I would love to have you as part of my little community. Take care of yourselves, stay safe, stay healthy, live your best life, and be kind. Bye.